Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Twisters doing very, very well this weekend. $75 million opening, not far from Oppenheimer. Wow, on Friday. Box office Saturday AM update. They think it's going to make a ton of money.
Well, that's relative, but yes.
Well, yeah, not as much as Deadpool and Wolverine's going to make.
Not as much as, like, you know, Inside Out 2 probably.
Inside Out 2,
you
but
know.
I didn't think this one was going to do that well. I'm going to be honest. I didn't, you know, because it's been like 30 years since Twister. It wasn't exactly like a franchise. I mean, it was a big hit when it was out, but that was, I think, because Helen Hunt was, you know, huge on TV at that point, and like we were in like peak disaster movie mode back then, right? We were just talking about the other day that there were all kinds of disaster movies in the 90s, and I didn't think they were going to be able to pull it off, but they are. We went to go see it yesterday.
Yes, we did.
So we'll give you some thoughts on that. So we'll talk numbers, and then we'll talk spoilers for the movie. I will give you one huge spoiler up front. There are multiple Twisters in Twisters.
Yes.
So the title was accurate. There's more than one Twister. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So actually got in the right order. So I was sitting on the other side of the table in the last video, and I got everything out of order because everything was backwards for me. There we go. So, yeah, updated Saturday AM from Deadline. Twisters gets stronger with a 3-day, $74.6 million opening after $32 million on Friday. What's to stop this movie from getting to 80 million?
It might, actually.
It might. I mean, I don't think it's going to break 100 million, but there were quite a few people at the theater yesterday, and that was like a late afternoon showing.
I like this audience is a massive amount of them from the middle of the country. Love Twisters. It gets an A- cinema score and a 4.5 stars post track.
Yeah, what did our daughter call it? We came out of
She said it was, when she said it, why, she goes, why are all the yeehaw, how does she call it? Yeehaw
necky or something, or
yeehaw, you know, rednecky movies, you know, doing well at the box office. And I was like, because they go for a good movie over a narrative. It
targets middle America. And then the one thing the director said, you know, before the movie came out that he got in trouble for was, we're not going to address climate change in the movie. And they don't. And it's this is a very middle America movie. And the first one was, I would actually say the first one was pretty much a middle America movie, but this one, I think more so. It feels more earthy. They got the country soundtrack. They got the whole thing going on, but it was just entertainment.
The filmmaker, Lee Isaac Chung, is from Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he said that Twister's highest grossing cinema is one in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So he said, when does that happen? Because these are people that they feel seen. Like, representation matters, guys. Well, here people feel like they're being seen representation. Actually, I think what it is it's a movie. It's much like, you know, Barbie and stuff like that. Well, there's agenda in that one, but you know what I'm saying? People just want an entertaining movie that isn't like ham-fisting you over the head with, you know, agenda and shit like that. And they didn't allude to anything agenda. And it was, and what did Pinky Boo say? There was a diversity, like a lot of diversity, and they made it look like it's every day. No big deal.
Yeah, it was really, amazing how they did it. Current year. It was we had a very diverse cast of people, but we didn't have people sitting around talking about their sexuality or their, you know, whatever.
You didn't know who anybody fucked except for, you know, the one person, obviously like dudes.
Right,
but, you know,
right. But it was just, I mean, they were just people chasing tornadoes and listening to country music and trying to help others and trying not to die, you know. Actually, I will say the body count in this movie was significantly higher than the first one, which surprised me. But spoiler, I'm telling you spoiler ahead so you can shut the thing off. Not nearly enough cows. Not nearly enough cows.
They didn't have the cows in this one.
No, they had a chicken.
Oh, there was chicken.
They need to have a cow and chicken just because it would be funny, like the cartoon.
That would be funny. They said that also helping this movie play to red states, Twister isn't political. It's not red states. Also helping play to red states. Also helping the movie to play to everyone. In the middle America, and all the time it's middle of the country, and it's middle America, is that it's not political. Because once upon a time, you went to the damn movies because you wanted to escape the political bullshit, and there's a lot of things people want to escape right now.
Yeah.
And being, slapped over the face with more agenda is not probably a smart thing to do. So Twitch is not a political movie. It truly is not a political movie. So it's not about red states. It's about people want to go see movies that don't shove politics down your throat.
Okay, so let's put a pin in that right there. The fact that Deadline has to dedicate a couple of paragraphs to it just being a fun movie that's apolitical shows you exactly where we are with pop culture right now.
Well, it gets better, though. Did you read the rest of it? Not one word about climate change.
Yeah.
And the multitude of tornadoes that strike during its 2 hours and 2 minute running time. It's long. That will keep you this underserved part of the country when it comes to movie product coming back. Post-track shows that those attending Twister, 16% were registered Democrats. 7 were Republicans.
Most people probably did. Okay, so that's 16, 17. So that's only 23% of people probably answered. They came out of the theater like, excuse me, which way do you vote? Because we're going to prove a point here.
But they didn't prove the point. The point was more Democrats went to see it than Republicans. And the other point is, that's only, like you said, a quarter of the audience, because most people probably told them to fuck off.
They probably told them to fuck off. Yeah. I mean, look, we used to, and you look at the 70s and early 80s, I don't know when, we stopped making movies for middle America. It seemed like at some point in time we stopped making, because logically you'd be like, let's make a movie for everybody. Because we want everybody's money. Again, I always say, I don't care if you vote red or you vote blue, or I could say, I don't care if you wear a red hat or you've got blue hair. If your money's green, that's what should matter, right?
Because we keep saying most of America is in the middle. Whether you're moderate leaning right or moderate leaning left, most of it's in the middle. So it's not even about politics. People just want to go see an entertaining movie that isn't about politics. I mean, that's across the board. It's not rocket science, Hollywood. Sit and spin. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's so weird that you're not hearing about this with any other movie about wow, it was apolitical and Oklahoma liked it. Oh my God, the chuds from Oklahoma. 51% were Caucasian, 26% Latino. Well, given one of the leads is Latino, Anthony Ramos, is that his name? The guy from Transformers: Rise of the Beast, who I thought was very good in that movie. I just wish that movie was better. But
10% Black and 9% Asian American.
PILFs.
So?
PILFs and, I thought this was a derogatory term, PILFs. PILFs and IMAX tickets are revving around 43%. Actually, it'd be cool to see this movie in IMAX.
IMAX, it would be, yes.
But again, we're not. So here we have a movie.
It was a very diverse cast.
Yeah, it was. But the thing is they were all just hanging out and being human beings.
Honestly, I didn't think anything of the cast being diverse until our daughter in the car said. And the cast was really diverse, so I don't know why people would be mad about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was, because it was done right, so I didn't even think about it.
Because we didn't have, one of the cast members coming out and having a whole monologue that didn't make any damn sense. Well, I'm a lesbian, and then when Trump took office, everything went to hell. And then my parents threw me out. And no, you didn't hear any of that shit. They're just people chasing tornadoes and trying not to get killed, and everybody dies the same if they do. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that we have to call attention to it in 2024 when this is just how movies were made even
for years,
15 years ago. It was just this, you look at Independence Day. Then so tell me, Will Smith, how does it feel to be a black man in a lead in a major motion picture in a predominantly white-dominated industry, Will Smith?
Then he was leading most of the movies, but
back then,
no one thought.
And then we got the Beverly Hills Cop show or whatever coming out, and remember when Eddie Murphy was the most bankable star in Hollywood? Nobody gave a
Eddie
shit.
Murphy movies because Eddie Murphy was great. No one cared. There's Eddie Murphy. Oh yeah, I'm there.
It's frying their circuits. How?
But anyway. It's doing pretty well. It might hit 80 million. I mean, I don't know what the budget was on this one.
I'm sure it was pretty decent, but
I don't think it was super high though, because other than animating tornadoes and some of the special effects for that, it's mostly just people.
Fire up the AI.
It's just, it's mostly just people. So I don't think it's
no cows.
Crazy. Yeah, there was. Well, she had a farm with cows, but they didn't show any cows getting sucked up in tornadoes. But there was, like you said, chicken. Anyway, are we going to move to the spoilery part of this episode?
Yeah, I guess we'll spoil. So we did go see it.
Pause it if you don't want to hear it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you're listening still, it's on you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we did go see it. We did go see the movie. It was good. You liked it. I mean, I liked it. It was a serviceable popcorn movie. Now you like the first Twister. Yeah, you like the first Twister quite a bit.
The first one was better. I'm going to say that. Yeah. The first one, I think, is a better movie. That being said, this is not a bad movie. It's actually really fun and it's really good. And I didn't even realize it was 2 hours long and it was over. And I was like, wow, that went by pretty quick. Our daughter liked this one enough that she went and watched the first one. Her comment was, yeah, the first one's better.
Yeah, which is weird. I didn't expect that. I expect her to go back and watch the original and be like, oh, yeah, the first one's better.
Yeah, but she did. But this one isn't as good as the first one, but it's still really good. I think that what's going on with this movie is that they're trying to find a way. Like the first one, they're trying to read a tornado, and this one they're trying to do that too. And they allude to the first movie with the Dorothy and all that, in the early part of the movie. But in this one, their plan is to shoot up the stuff they put in diapers, and they would use the same stuff in pads and stuff into the tornado to suck up the moisture to break the moisture thing that's causing it to collapse the tornado.
It's nature's PMS, and they just have to soak up all the rage.
It's like Bounty, it's, quicker pick her up, or sometimes go no. Anyway, no, they send up the stuff they use in diapers into the tornado multiple times to try to stop the tornado. And then of course when they eventually are successful, obviously, and of course, and it's like a big F5 tornado that they managed to suck the stuff into. And the truck with screws in the ground is great until you have debris flying into the truck and nothing breaks the windows or anybody in it, nothing ever, which I thought was funny. But that's their plan because, it totally dissipates. And when it dissipates, none of that stuff's going to be falling to the ground in giant clumps and hitting people.
I know, right?
But, the science behind it was a little weird. But other than that, it was good. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I'd tell people to watch it. If you just want a fun movie to watch, it's a fun movie to watch.
It feels like a movie that would have been made in the 90s. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it in that regard, it feels very much like a throwback. And do not expect any super cerebral anything. And I think that's what's making people mad, was making these Hollywood people mad.
Hollywood mad, not the general public.
Yeah, they don't understand. They're like, wait, how could this just like middle of the road, purely entertainment product make money? Because that's all people are asking for. It's not rocket science. It really,
or tornado science, weather
movies,
science.
I'm sure there are some huge
science
plot holes there, but
but I'm sure.
But just make a decent popcorn movie and people will go to it.
Where else are you going to see a movie where a guy drives his truck into a small tornado and then starts lighting off fireworks?
Blasting music, broadcasting it on YouTube, which I thought was a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's what my daughter called the Yeehaw movie. It's like the biggest Yeehaw movie ever.
The biggest Yeehaw movie. It was like Merca with his Merca truck and his Merca country music and his freaking fireworks, and he's live streaming the whole thing. I thought he was the most Mercan.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was pretty good. We had a rodeo. We had all
the flags, American flags.
Lots of American flag waving. It was. There were
a lot of callbacks to the first movie too. Like after the rodeo, the tornado comes, like they did with the drive-in theater, and they get into like a pit. This time it's a pool. Last time it was whatever it was, like a pit for vehicles or something. Yeah. They did that again. They had a movie theater in this one instead of the drive-in theater. So they got the movie theater in it again. And we got he was trying to find a dog. So we got the dog in it again. Well, you didn't see the dog, but you got that you were trying to find the dog again.
Yeah.
There was a lot of callbacks. They had a Dorothy in it too.
Well, okay. So I went and looked, because here's the thing that surprised me about this movie. It wasn't as connected to the first movie as I expected it to be.
No, it was basically like a reboot with some callbacks to the first movie.
Yeah, they said that what they call a standalone sequel. So it does take place, according to the director. I had to go look it up. I'm like, does this actually even take place in the same universe? Because we don't have any of the characters from the... Like, I thought for sure they play up in this movie the mystery of her mother. Like, she doesn't take a phone call from her mom and never says who her mom is.
And she had a Dorothy.
And she wouldn't give her last name. Just Kate. It's just Kate. And then we finally get to the farm where her mom lives, and her mom is in the shadows at first. And we're like, oh, here's the big reveal. It's going to be Joe from the first movie. Nope. It is not. It's what's her face from shows you've seen.
Liar, mom and stuff.
Yeah.
Thing, though, if it was Joe would be out there with her.
Well, that's what the director said. The director said,
I didn't even read that.
No, he said
Joe would be out there with her.
Yeah, he said if it were Joe, she's out there doing something. It wouldn't be her in this movie. So it didn't make sense for it to be Joe. So it had to be somebody else. But she's never mentioned. But it's like, yeah. And people are like, well, where'd she get the Dorothy from? And he's like, well, that's a connection. I guess there's some other connections too. You have to really look for it.
I'm sure there were. Those are the ones I noticed off the top of my head.
But she went to the same school, and they probably donated Dorothy or something. But he said no, it's Dorothy 5 because it was Dorothy's 1 through 4, I guess, in the first movie. I'm like, wait, it took them 30 years to get to a 5. I mean, come on. But yeah, it's like, yeah, she exists in this universe, but they don't mention it. It's weird. It's weird that they don't mention the characters from the first movie at all. But then again, like, I guess why would you if you're just dealing with tornado chasers like and there's a bunch of them out there?
It's better for not.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean this is a movie you can go into.
It's not weighed down.
Yeah, you can go into, but like I was kind of worried taking Pinky Boo to go see it. Like she never saw the first one. I'm like, is it going to be dependent on the first one?
Not at all.
And then you also get that whole nostalgia, bogged down by nostalgia. Like, well, now we have to go back and we have to pay reverence.
Expectations, fan-based expectations, and that there, it's not there. So it's its own thing. If you overlook some of the the holes about the science, it's like, well, that's weird, but okay. And maybe there's a scientific reason they're using that as maybe that there's basis for it. I don't know, but it seems weird. Hurry up, guys! There's a tornado coming. Throw your diapers into it.
Right.
It
stopped it pretty quick. It's a quicker picker upper.
It stopped it. Yeah, it stopped the last F5, but suddenly it just stops all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you can get past some of that, it's actually it's a pretty good movie as far as just being mindless fun. And, if you're afraid of tornadoes, I don't recommend going.
Oh, God, you're going to be terrified because it's not just one, it's multiples.
It's multiple.
And they
give you some they give you some names for stuff and explain some things, which I thought was really clever.
Exposition for the audience. I know they had the one black guy scientist was in there, and he was like Mr. Exposition. Like,
yeah, but he explained things to tell people.
He was like the Bill Nye of the movie.
I thought it was kind of cool because it then tells us, like, why does this happen? What are they looking for? And I thought that was interesting. But
they always had that character in all these disaster. They were always a staple of disaster movies. They start throwing these terms around. They always had that one character that's explaining it for the audience, and he was the guy. But I would watch a show. I'd watch a show with him.
But it made sense the way he did it. It wasn't just like out of the blue. It was like it made sense. And they had a reporter there.
Well, okay,
and that was interesting too.
That's why the reporter was there. The reason the reporter was there was so they could have this guy explain to the reporter all the jargon, so the audience understands all the jargon. I guarantee you that came up in the writers' room. They're probably like, "Oh no, we need an audience stand-in." So it's going to be the reporter that we're explaining everything to.
The layman who's coming in.
Layman. Yeah, like in the first movie they had, was it Jamie Gertz was the
sex therapist.
Yeah, they had
the fiance.
Yeah, the fiance. They had, so she was the audience stand-in, and they would explain stuff to her because they all knew they all talked tornado, and she didn't know what the hell was going on, so they explained it. So in this case, we had the journalist and then the other guy explaining. So I mean, it works in that regard. But yeah, if you're terrified of tornadoes, you're going to be doubly terrified after watching this. So what would you give it on like a scale 1 to 10?
I don't know. What would you give it?
6.
Oh, I think it's higher than that.
7, 6-ish.
I'd say, well, if the first one was like an 8, I'd probably say 7, 7.5. But that's my opinion. Some people might not like it, and that's okay. If you don't like it, you're allowed to not like it. If you like it better than me, you're allowed to like it better than me.
You like the first Twister better? Like
I went to the theater to see it, and it was fun. It was a fun movie to see in the theater.
I watch it if you're watching it and it's on in the background, but it's not. I mean, I can't say it's ever. I mean, that's the thing too. I can't say
it's not one of my go-to movies.
No,
watch a movie.
Twister's
but
never
if it's
been
on,
a go-to.
I'll watch it. If it's on, I'll watch it. It's
never been a go-to movie for me. So,
but this one wasn't. Well, I don't think it was as good as the first one, but. That sounds like that'd be saying that like it's not good, but that's not the case. It was like I was over before I knew it, and I was like, wow, that was over. That was like 2 hours. What the heck? Because it just kept me engaged the whole time because it was just dumb fun. It was just like some people died, so that wasn't fun. But you know what I mean? It was just
but sometimes they died in it looked so comical.
Well, they were
just
like stupid.
They were like backflipping, hurling through the air.
Well, that's what happened. You get sucked into the sex zone.
That looks so. I mean, at least it wasn't like the '80s where it was like obvious blue screen or green screen where they're like on a harness or something. But it was just like, whoa, there they go, bye.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if you want a movie that's just a fun yeehaw movie,
that's pretty much it. That's our daughters.
Then go watch this movie. I mean, if you worst case scenario you don't like it, best case scenario you really like it. But it's not preaching at you. It's diversity done correctly, where they never make a big deal about it. You don't need to know who everybody's sleeping with. People are just diverse, and they happen to be all like on the same level, and they all are working together, and it's about helping others. And I just thought it was a good movie, and it was fun. So I recommend watching it.
All right, yeehaw, yeehaw, yeehaw. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.